Good morning, everybody, and I hope everybody had a super St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those recipes that I did get to post. I just got done dropping the kids off. Just before I drop them off, obviously, I don't know if you guys can see, it's raining, which seems to be a lot of my videos, it's raining. Aiden was asking a really, curious question. I mean, can the Flash run faster in the rain? And I said to him, well, no. I mean, he can run his normal speed in the rain, but just like a car, he's got to be careful, because with the rain, there's less traction, and he could, lose control. He could spin out, and, it's harder to run. And I explained to him the whole velocity and friction and everything, which is something they had gone over with like a couple months ago, but probably at this point, he's really not thought about that. But it's a good question. I mean, you would think, oh, maybe because, it's a lot, slippery, obviously, less friction, he would run faster. But I said, I think pretty sure, running in the rain, he has that chance, just like a car going too fast, of, losing control, spinning out, and especially at his speed, which is, an ultra speed. I mean, imagine if a car is going 60, how, it loses control. Imagine if someone's going, 300-400 miles an hour, trying to, control themselves. It'd be just mass anarchy kind of going on, trying to control themselves. So, that was a really cool question. I wish I'd had the camera on at the time to talk to him, and he can, at the time we talked about it. It would have been really cool. But today, guys, we have our national days, as always. I love my national days. Today is a National Certified Nurses Day, so this is a day we get to celebrate all those nurses who help out all the doctors and help us and take care of us on a daily basis. This is that day we get to celebrate them. I'm sure there's other Nurses Day, because this is Certified Nurses Day. I'm sure there's another Nurses Day as well, as we always like to know. It's also National Laugh Day, guys. So this is the day we're gonna all have some fun. Maybe everyone's too serious a lot of times. This is the day we kind of have to try to remember to step back and have a good time once in a while and laugh and have enjoy life. So definitely me and the kids are doing some fun stuff. I did a little bit of Stitch singing Lollipop for them this morning, so that kind of got them a good laugh. So that was a good thing. And today's also National Poultry Day, which is, I guess, celebrating the poultry, celebrating chicken and turkey and all the wonderful poultry that we get to eat. Maybe this morning you can have yourself some eggs, maybe some turkey bacon, maybe have a turkey sandwich for lunch today, maybe some chicken wings. That's my plans. I think I'm gonna have some chicken wings to celebrate National Poultry Day. I think that's what I'm about to do. But I mean, guys, as I said, it's rainy here. It just seems to be always rainy, but it's funny that the last couple weeks, actually, it's been sunny and hot, which is good, because I finally did my bonfire, which was a cool thing to do. And I finally, after weeks, finally got to watch the season finale of WandaVision. And let me just say this. Yeah, there was a little bit of tears. I'm not going to lie. There was definitely some tears. It definitely got me choked up a little bit. It was definitely an awesome show. It kind of started off, at least for me, I'm not sure if any of you guys start the same way. Let me know, please. Start off a little, I was kind of okay, I'm not really sure about this show. This is kind of I don't know. It was a little weird to start off with. I was like, I don't know about this show. This is really weird. And, things didn't make sense. And then they started tying things together. And he's like, oh! And it really did become a really great show. That seems to be a lot of times, with some things, especially when they're the really good shows, always at first I don't like. Because, they just kind of shove you into it real quick, and they kind of make you all confused. And you're like, this isn't fun to watch, because I don't understand what the heck's going on. But then it tying things together, and you're like, oh, and it really makes great. It's kind of how it was with Game of Thrones. When the first time I watched Game of Thrones, first season, actually, at the time Aiden was actually 2 years old as well, so it was a case of, trying to watch a 2-year-old and watch Game of Thrones. But I was confused, and and I love medieval stuff. I was like, this is just really confusing. I understand, because the first season of Game of Thrones, actually the first episode or 2 of Game of Thrones, to be honest, they just throw names at you constantly, Lannister, and Dothraki, and I'm like, oh my god, there's millions of names that are thrown at you, and I was like, there's Cersei, and there's Lannisters, and there's Dothraki, and there's Khal Drogo, and then there's Targaryens. I'm like, wait, you got 19 names that you're throwing at me, and I just was so confused. But then, once I kind of decided to, give it a break, and I came back to it a couple years later and checked it out, it was such an awesome show, except for that last season, which I think a lot of people will agree on. That last season which kind of brings me to the point of, a lot of times that happens. Because what happened was, obviously the books are still going, but the show reach to where the books were already, so it had to make up its own things. A lot of times, what people make up for stuff that's already not been written is really not always as good as what ends up coming out. Another good example of that is if you're a big anime fan, Full Metal Alchemist. There's a Full Metal Alchemist from, I think it's 2003, and then there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. If you watch the first one from 2003, it's a good show, but the end kind of gets a little like jumbled and confusing because they just start like throwing weird stuff in there and they don't like tiny loose ends up and you're like, wait, what? Okay. And you kind of just like let it go. Then they finished the mangas, so then they made Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood after the mangas, and it was just so much better because everything was tied in the way it should have been because we followed exactly what the mangas were. It was really, really, really good. It just sometimes what happens. I mean, I sometimes wish things like Game of Thrones, Full Metal Alchemist, I think Rurouni Kenshin was the same way too. I think Inuyasha might have been the same way as well. I wish they'd wait till the series or the books or whatever are done and then they would write the shows, because it would be such like better things. I mean, that happens a lot of times. They get too far and they're already past where the books are, and then they have to make up their own stuff. And what their idea is not as good as what is already being written, and they kind of askew things, and it just ruins it and stuff. But let me know, guys, what do you think? Do you think the same thing I think? I think a lot of times it's better if they just wait till the end of a book series or a manga and then do the show, or do the anime and stuff like that. I mean, I understand the whole concept of like wanting to capitalize, like, oh man, everyone's like, it's the hot button. But if they wait till like it all is finished, it'll be so much better, because then they can go exactly how the manga or books are going. But guys, let me know. Please let me know. I love to talk about this stuff. I love talking comics. I love talking anime. Of what I know in anime, as I said, I'm not the biggest anime fan. Not say fan, but I don't know like all the animes there are. But I love talking this stuff. But I gotta stop, do a quick pick stop. Hope you guys are having super days, and I'll talk to you guys all in a little bit.